back to the channel. It's Jumbled Mama. Today we're going to talk a little bit about anxiety and depression. So I found this really cool app that I think you all will find really cool too. I'm going to include some video of the whole app in a second. But the reason I wanted to do this video is because I saw a story earlier in the week of a 27-year-old. She's like a wellness coach or something like that. And she committed suicide. And it was a really sad story for me because I feel like sometimes you look at people that seem like they're really happy or things like that, and you never realize that the personal struggles that they are going through. So I think it's important that we are aware that even though someone is smiling, that they could be going through a storm, that it's important to check on our friends and even check on ourselves and make sure that we're good too. Mental health is very, very important. I know people are saying it a lot, but if you're in a dark place, you're not feeling like yourself or anything like that, please find somebody to talk to. If you're suicidal, I'm going to leave the number to the suicide hotline below. It's important to be well. Like this 27-year-old doctor, I think they said in the story that she's been battling for like 10 years. And that's really sad that no matter what was going on in her life, all the good things that were happening, she was still in a very dark place. Which leads me to this video. I found an app recently that I am just loving. It is helping me to relax, helping me to reframe my thoughts, helping me to think more positively about my situation. It's been really good. Now the thing with this app is kind of like like you're chatting with someone, but it's like not with an actual person. It's kind of like a machine, I guess, and they're just doing automatic responses usually. Sometimes the responses are right on, and you're like, dog, you knew that, but you realize that it's like really pre-recorded. But the tips and advice that they give is just as great. I appreciate everything that they said because I can take it and like, that's a good idea, that I should reframe my thoughts. Instead of thinking negatively, I should try to put a positive spin on things. So I think it's really good app. It gives you a lot of good advice. It's just amazing. Like, I've been using it for about 2 weeks now, and I'm really noticing the difference in my life. I've been doing some of the calming exercises, some of the positive thinking exercises, the mindfulness exercises on there as well, and it's just like really helping to find peace in my life. Currently, a lot of my stressors come from not having employment and knowing that our family could really use. A lot of my stressors come from knowing that my family could use another income in the household, and I'm not able to find work to do that. My brother recently lost his second job, so it's really been hard on us. And we don't want to go through the process of an eviction and going back to an extended stay, but life is really tough right now. I recently had to pull my son out of school, and because mental health is important for kids too. And I could tell that he was really struggling. We're actually going to get a psychologist for him as well. We're going to do some family counseling because it's very important. And so now I'm homeschooling, so trying to find a job has been very tough. Trying to find an overnight shift or anything has been very tough. Trying to find a position that was like that's in my field has been hard. Trying to find a job that pays more than $8 has been hard. So it's really been a struggle for me, and it's been really stressing me out. And also the YouTube social media journey has been stressing me out as well. I know that this is supposed to be fun, but it's also a way that you could make a little income. I'm not talking about something that's going to like fund a lifestyle, but just like $100, you know, and an AdSense check would be nice, you know, every month could help out greatly. Because right now, you know, just trying to get the basics is tough when you honestly don't have any money. Like, literally my brother and my mom are taking care of the household. The only saving grace is that I get food stamps, so I'm able to provide the grocery expense, but I would love to be able to do more for my family so we don't face eviction. So it's really been very stressful. Um, as far as like anxiety and depression, I suffered with depression throughout my teens. I was bullied when I was younger, and I don't think I honestly realized how much it affected me until I got older. But like being called ugly all the time, being called lame, boring, all of those things, or telling you smell all the time, things like that used to really happen to me every single day of like my life, and it was really hard to process. And I took on all the labels that people gave me, and I never had a label for myself. So now at 25, I'm learning to become whoever it is that I want to become without being what people told me I was. So I've had to struggle with finding beauty in myself, finding positive things to say about myself, because I've always heard such negative things about myself. That's why even doing the YouTube thing is hard, because I think about, oh man, am I going to be able to take those negative things that people say about me? Am I going to be strong enough to handle it? And that's why I kind of stepped away from YouTube for a little bit, because I knew that it would be tough to battle that and be in a dark space at the same time. And after I had my oldest son, Raylan, I suffered with postpartum depression. I really wanted to kill myself. Didn't want to be here. I thought it was a failure. I didn't know what our future would hold. I was just so afraid. But I'm here 6 years later. I'm still holding on. I've been in a much brighter place in my life. I'm learning not to go back to that dark space, because it wasn't a very nice space for me. And I know now that it's not always about being happy all the time. You don't have to be happy all the time. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to be upset. It's not about faking happiness. It's about dealing with those real raw emotions, and just dealing with those emotions and not staying in that place. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be mad. Just don't want to stay in that place. You want to eventually work through those emotions and move on. You don't want to just put on a smile just to fake happiness. You don't want to do that, because that's damaging. So learning that was a very important lesson. And learning that you're going to have good and bad days, and that's okay. Just learning to be real, that it's not always sunshine and roses. It's real life out here, and it's a struggle sometimes. I think we get caught up in pictures and images that we see every day that we don't realize. There's behind the scenes things happening that we don't know. Everybody doesn't tell their full story about what's going on in their life. So it's very important to put things in perspective. So I'm just showing you a little bit of this app and our conversation on the app. So I hope you all enjoy seeing what the app has to offer. That's what I'm getting ready to put in now. This is kind of like a screen recording, so you're going to see that. Like I said, it's not perfect, but I love it, and they have a life coach option as well, where you can talk to a real person. They have an Instagram feed that is really extremely positive. So if you are looking for an account that's really positive on your feed, I suggest them, because it's really good to see some of their posts.
instead of what you want to get away from. It could be a goal or a new habit, such as getting up earlier in the morning, or exercising regularly, or learning something new. Now create an image of what it would be like when you would achieve your goal successfully.
I want to add with this app that it doesn't replace therapy in a sense. This is kind of like an add-on to therapy. Even though they have a life coach session, I feel like if you're in a deep depression or you're really going through a hard time, and if you can afford it, you have the resource to do so, I feel like going to talk to a therapist is probably a good option as well. It's not as of a personal touch as somebody you're getting to know, like a therapist. And if you're somebody like me, I've been in therapy as well, and it's kind of hard to find that right therapist that understands you. But don't give up. Find a really good therapist for you, because there are many therapists out there. There are many options for you. So I think even if it didn't work out the first time, don't rule out therapy as something that could help you. And just try it again. Try it with someone else. Try it with somebody completely different, a different office, or anything like that. Or like somebody tried to prescribe you medicine and you weren't sure about the medicine, ask them about different options instead of medicine. All of those things. So I want to make this point clear that this is not something to replace therapy. If you're really going through a tough time, a deep depression, please reach out to somebody and don't just rely on an app, because it's not personable at all. These responses are already queued up and things like that. It just gives good tips and advice. But I think to be in a healthy mental state, you need to see a psychologist if need be. Like when I first did the analysis, they already told me you might want to reach out to a psychologist. And I think that's a good idea, because I'm looking into therapy options now. And I'm going to try it again, even though my first few experiences weren't the best. So just want to put that out there. This is for like mild depression and anxiety. If you're mentally strong to be able to work through those problems, if you try to work through your problems, still not working, therapy and this app will probably help you. But don't rely solely on the app to get you mentally strong. Seek out the resources that you need to. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, if you're going through something currently, you're in a dark place, please find somebody to talk to. If you're currently dealing with suicidal thoughts, please feel free to call the suicide hotline. Find somebody to talk to. Anybody, you never know who you can reach out to that will really understand you and could really help you through your situation. Don't doubt what someone can do for you just because you think nobody understands. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.